Hello friends, welcome. We'll be discussing in this video the introduction to statistics, part 1. Before we go for the statistical introductory part, let us talk something about the important quotes which have direct bearing on the statistics. P.C. Mahalanobis, the man who established the roots of statistics in India, said statistics must have a clearly defined purpose, one aspect of which is scientific advance and other human welfare and national development. The greatest thing a scientist, a scholar has ever said, that is, the findings of science has dual purpose, one for the development and the advancement of the science, and the other similarly important purpose is the nation's advancement, nation's development. Wonderful. Then Carl Pearson, who said statistics is the grammar of science. So if you want to understand the science, you must know the nitty and gritty of statistics. And Mark Twain said, facts are stubborn thing, but statistics are valuable. So these are some quotes, and they have their own context and meaning as far as the statistics is concerned. So the basic purpose behind discussing these quotes is that the students of statistics must know how statistics can influence thinking landscape of the individual and the viewpoint of stalwarts of statistics. Now we'll go for the definition. The statistics refers to a branch of data and mathematics which specializes in enumeration, the relation to metric data. This definition explains what statistics is and what is the role of statistics. This definition has explained the dual role of statistics. Means what it is and what it does. Then a definition by the Byrne, he says that mathematical procedures used to describe data and draw inferences from them. This explains that inferences from the data is being described or taken out through use of some procedures or some methods. And that methods or procedures are taken from the mathematical science. And the name given to those methods is statistics. Now the question comes. Psychology is the study of behavior and related mental functions. So why a student of psychology need to study statistics? And the students generally have this question in their mind. Owing to the dynamic nature and certainty of human behavior. Remember, human behavior is highly dynamic. At every moment, it changes. Along with dynamism, there is uncertainty. It becomes highly unpredictable at how a human will behave in a particular situation. Though we know that in a similar situation that a particular individual is behaved in that way, but it's not necessary, it is not 100% correct that in a similar situation, same individual behave in the same fashion. That is the kind of uncertainty associated with the human behavior. And psychology studies that behavior. So, the psychology researchers find it extremely difficult to conduct purely objective laboratory experiments as far as the human beings are concerned. The perfect laboratory experiments are almost impossible in the psychology due to the dynamism in the behavior. But the demand of society, demand of the system to manage the human behavior, to understand the human behavior, and to predict the human behavior, researchers has to pour their efforts. They need to explain and predict that human behavior. While predicting and explaining that human behavior, they find it difficult to pinpoint prediction. So how it can be done? So there is another tool that is known as statistics that is being used by the social researchers, psychologists, to at least up to some extent the behavior can be explained and predicted so that it can be managed well. One more important point, that the experiments which are designed for the social sciences are being conducted in the laboratories. The data being collected. After that, data has been collected from these social science experiments. And researcher is well aware that these experiments are not purely perfect one. There are some variables, unexplained variables that may influence the results. So to circumvent the impact of that unexplained variables, invisible variables, the rigorous statistical technique are the best tool that can be applied on the data and the inferences can be drawn. As Guilford and Frecker rightly commented that statistical methods are the constant companion of experiments and of course psychologists too. So this constant companion means as our shadow is our constant companion. Similarly, the statistics and its methods are the constant companion of experimentals. Apart from that, there are few more reasons why we need to study statistics is to read and understand the advanced research papers. Then, to be a good researcher, to be a good experimenter, a student must know the basics of statistics. It helps in exploring the causal relations. Then statistics is known to develop analytical, reasoning and critical thinking ability in the individuals. And the student of psychology should have all these three abilities. I'm not saying that statistics develop these abilities, whereas statistics helps in refining these abilities. Now, historical perspective from Indian point of view. The fundamental aim of statistics is to give a determinate and adequate knowledge of reality with the help of numbers and numerical analysis. The qualitative data, the qualitative variables are converted into numbers. These numbers are being analyzed using the statistical tools to gain the insight into the functioning and working of these qualitative variables. So that is the numerical analysis that provide the output, inferences and helps in understanding the causal relationship between these variables, the functioning of these variables and helps in predicting these variables. So that is the role of statistics. In India, we have a clear evidence that administrative statistics. What is administrative statistics? Statistical tools, techniques which are being used in the administrative setup for running the administration peacefully and perfectly well. That is administrative statistics. Had reached high state of organization before 300 BCE. In the Arthashastra of Kautilya, the duties of the Gopa, the village accountant includes. So what are the duties were given to the Gop, who is known as the village accountant? He used to do the following duties: setting up boundaries to villages, numbering plots of grounds as cultivated and uncultivated, plains, the area of the plains, the wetlands, the gardens, vegetable gardens, fences, forest altars, temples of gods, irrigation works, cremation grounds, Means the Gopa has to do all these activities, numbering them, measuring them, feeding houses, places where water is freely supplied to travelers, places of pilgrimage, perfect grounds and roads, and thereby fixing the boundaries of various villages or fields, of forest or road. He shall register gifts, sales, charities, and remission of taxes regarding fields. This is mentioned in the Arthashastra, the famous treatise written by the Kautilya and quoted by the P.C. Mahalanobis, the gentleman who sowed the seeds of statistics in India. So, 300 years prior to the starting of the Christian era, the statistics has been freely used in India in these forms. So, India has a historical roots as far as the statistics is concerned. Now, we'll come to the introduction. So that was the background. We were discussing about the statistics. It must be essential part of professional training because it enables the researchers to summarize the results in a meaningful and convenient form. Who are the professional trainees? The students of social sciences, the students of psychology. They must be trained in statistics so that they can able to carry out the experiment and come out with the objective inferences. It helps the researcher in standardizing the procedures, analysis of data, and causal factors. First, the procedures are to be standardized. The data has to be analyzed and the causal factors has to be found out. This all is possible with the help of statistics. Rather, I say statistics makes it easy to extract these phenomena from a set of data. The results are summarized. The generalization of results is possible through a use of statistics. And finally, it helps in predicting a phenomena, which is the major objective of science. In social sciences and psychology, various statistical techniques are used, such as measuring central tendencies, correlations, regression, analysis of variance, etc. So these are some important tools and techniques that has been developed by the statisticians for the use in the social sciences. Only when we have certain type of classified or categorized data, because it acts as a raw material for the statistical procedures. So data is the food for the statistics. The raw data is arranged, cleaned, profiled into various categories such as frequencies, percentages, proportions, and ratios. After that, these techniques are being utilized. So the data has to be arranged in a certain categories for the application of statistical techniques. So some of them will be discussing what are the frequencies. It's a simple category where the number of objects or events are specified in a particular category. Then percentage, a kind of mathematical index with base 100. I need not to explain the percentage, I think, and I'm sure you all know that. Now the proportions. There is always a confusion among the various students between the proportions and the ratio. These are the two separate words, two separate phenomena, having a thin line of difference between these two. So what is proportion? It's a part or fraction of 1. It's a part of whole. That is 1 by 100 of a percentage, or percentage is 100 times proportion, and its base is always 1. So the ratios and the proportions have a base 1, whereas a percentage have a base of 100. So proportion means a part of a whole. Suppose if you take a cake and cut out a part of it, so that is the proportion of it. Okay, so in this way, if we take the ratio, it is a fraction. That is the ratio of two phenomena, two variables, m or n, x or y, or anything can be m by n. Its base is also 1, as I told you earlier. Ratio is a part to total as well as part. Here comes the difference between the ratio and proportion. Proportion is a part of the whole, whereas ratio is a part to total and a whole part. And you know, proportion is a special ratio. If you have still any doubt about the proportion ratio, you can write in my comment box. Certainly, I will try to clarify that doubts. Then, what are the types of statistics? We in social science use generally two types of statistics: non-parametric statistics and the parametric statistics. This also creates a point of confusion among the students of psychology, the difference between the parametric and non-parametric statistics. The statistical tests, which are specifically developed to certain kind of a data, that data which do not meet the assumptions of normality or the normal distribution of data, or they are the distribution free data, or they are the specifically developed to take out the inferences from the distribution free data. So now what is this distribution? What is this normal distribution? When data is distributed in such a way that if we plot a curve of the data, if the data makes a bell-shaped curve, that means the data is normally distributed, or the data follows the NPC, normal probability curve, then we can freely call it as a normally distributed data. That can be assessed through the bar diagrams, also various statistical techniques. Nowadays there are lots of softwares available that helps in assessing the normality of the data. So the statistical tools which are being specifically designed to assess the data which meets the assumptions of normal distribution, that comes under the parametric statistics, and the statistical tests which are designed to assess the data which doesn't meet the assumptions of normal distribution, they are known as the non-parametric statistics. So this is the fundamental difference between. Okay, these are my references. You want to gain the deeper insight, just refer them and read out. And the next discussion will be, obviously, it will be Introduction to Statistics Part 2. Thanks friends for watching.